Hello, everyone. This is the 16th of January, and you are in the Gathering Convergence Room, home of the Heal the Earth Initiative. Today is Tuesday, and this is the Keeper of the Flying Beacon, and we have Grandmother Gail Thomas with us today. Gail, how are you?
Good, Shonda. Thank you so much for making this space available for us. And our tarot card looks like it's about centering. So I want to focus on that and share the indigenous teachings and ways that help us come back to center, knowing that we will spiral. We have to come off center in order to move forward. So that's going to happen. And we just need our tools of ways to come back to center. And so I want to begin with the plant medicine. You know, most of my sharing is much more experiential. So I was thinking, I want this to also be more experiential. So I want to begin with the plant medicine and see if you guys can feel the difference when we do that. So I start with our native herbs, and that's the rabbit tobacco that we use in the same way that the sage can be used for clearing, and also it's one that we sniff because it's coyote medicine. It lightens us up, makes things more fun, and teaches us in those ways. And then I call in the ancestors who've done their work, and I ask you to take this through the ethers, through the Zoom opportunities. And this is another one that I sniff. It's very good antiviral, as well as many other characteristics. We're cedar people, so we really work with the cedar medicine. And then I move to the lobelia, our native tobacco that was originally here. And I hope you can see the smoke as it forms that axis mundi and connects the worlds, the lower world, the higher world with us here on the middle world. And we ask the spirit of this tobacco plant to interpret for us and also to lend us its power and to remind us of how much power it actually has. Think of all the people that are totally under the power of the Caribbean tobacco, the tobacco that's much stronger and has pretty much replaced our ancestral lobelia. But that's okay because our plants stay in the wild and they don't get abused as much that way. And I just lit the chaga mushroom, which is an excellent medicine. It does so many things. It's our ember for the pipe ceremony. I don't know if you can see it. It grows on the black birch. And the black birch is a medicine that we also use in the same way as sage, but we chew it because it tastes delicious. It's now being abused a little into a product called xylitol, but it also helps regulate the blood sugar in that form. It's a sweetener form. And of course, the tonic that we have for the times that we're in right now is the Pipsissewa in the winter tonics for the kidneys. And this is one that we work with extensively. I'll show you a little bit of what it looks like because it's one that's easy to recognize. Sometimes we call it wintergreen. Can you see this leaf if I can get it in the right place? Oh, it has that little white line and it stays green all winter. Excellent medicine for the kidneys. And also I'm going to put a little of my goldenrod herbs up here. That's our connection to the eternal flame. And again, it's kidney medicine for the winter because we all get more stagnant in the winter and the kidneys can't move as much out. We don't get as much fresh air and we need to keep things moving. And I will call to the Artemis, the mugwort, that is the medicine of my father's clan, my grandmother that raised me, the Blue clan. We carry the medicine ways, and I ask those to return for the people. And you can see instead of the turtle shell, I'm just using this little plate. When we do this, we really get familiar and can identify the dried leaf and the smell and even the taste of these plant spirits and the way they feel. And I offer my gratitude. Instead of the sweetgrass, we use the wild rose. You know, you hear a lot about the Cherokee rose. And that is a beautiful plant that grows everywhere that went with us. Those who went on the Trail of Tears. The Cherokee rose grows everywhere. It's that beautiful pink one with the gold center. And it's not a big invasive, it's a small, beautiful, beautiful rose. And when you take the leaf of this plant right before winter, when it's just finishing up and about to drop those leaves, you can take the stem and the stem will become the color of the flower. And it's the flower that brings us back to center. The one thing that I was able to find in that tarot card image was the flowers. I look for nature first. There's not a lot in these tarot cards, but there's always a flower, fortunately. And in my Jungian work, which comes from our shamanic medicine ways, we use the circle of the flower to bring us back to center. The flower always has a form loosely based on the circle, and it always has the center, and that's where the bees go. And it's the image of that center that brings us back to center. There's a practice in my mandala art work with the medicine ways and the Jungian ways. We close our eyes after we draw a circle with a colored pencil, and whatever we see in the darkness of our eyelids, it's usually a symbolic shape. Sometimes it's in a bright color, depending on how you have developed the third eye functions. You close your eyes and you see, and you take the image that you see and just draw it into the circle. And wherever it wants to go, you do that 4 times. And then we can look at that circle. We can feel the centering of this practice. And it brings us back to circle, back to our own centered ways. And then we can actually break it down. If we're really into the work, we can break it down to the 4 functions that are our natural ways. And we can see where the images are placed in the circle that we've drawn. And it will tell us where we are at this point in our lives and what we're working with and what our opportunities to learn and grow in keeping close to what is coming up in our lives. And you know, there's a lot of people say that Native people are proud. There's a lot of association with us being proud, but I don't interpret that energy in the same way. I interpret it as being present and being centered. And I think maybe that looks proud to the cultures who are not so much used to being in those ways or familiar with those feelings. And so I want to encourage us to come back to that centered presence at every opportunity. Maybe understand what's called pride in a new way. And I want to ask Shonda to play the song that came to me in the dream world about helping the world return to circles. And Shonda, if you want, you can do the more and see the words instead of the images on the video, if that's easy to do.
Yeah, let me see if I can spot that. Hang on just a second. We'll pull this up.
You know, songs come to us in the dream world because they can help us heal. And I'm so grateful that these songs are coming to me now, and they have since 2006. Grateful to all the people who are helping me take them out and share them more. That's it. When I hit more, you'll see the words.
We can share the sun.
All can share the sun.
All can share the sun.
We can share our heart.
We can share our heart
With all who share the sun.
with all who share the sun.
Connect us with your warmth.
Connect us with your warmth.
Connect us with your stillness.
Connect us with your stillness. Shine back in our human original instruction.
Light in our work with stars.
Light in a world with stars.
Return the world to circles.
Turn the world to circle.
We can share the wind.
We can share the wind.
All can share the wind.
All can share the wind.
We can share our heart.
We can share our heart
With all who share the wind.
with all who share the wind.
Blow away the hatred.
Blow away the hatred.
Blow away hierarchy.
Blow away hierarchy. Breathe back in our human original instruction.
Remove the corporate letters.
Remove the corporate letters.
Return the world to circles.
Turn the world to circles. Two-legged, four-legged, wings, fins, and crawlers, coming together as one with another, living in love. There are no others. Spirit to spirit, heart to heart. Can anything really keep us apart?
We can share the water.
We can share the water.
All can share the water.
All can share the water.
We can share our heart.
We can share our heart
With all who share the water.
all who share the water.
Wash away the tears of genocide and slavery. Wash away the pain and fill the space with love.
Wash away the pain, fill the space with love.
Flow back in our human original instructions. We can share the earth.
We can share the earth.
All can share the earth.
All can share the earth.
We can share our heart.
We can share our heart
With all who share the earth.
with all who share the earth. Mountain valleys make river basins.
Natural ways of
Sharing locations. Ground us in our human instructions.
Spin us into threads.
Spirits and the threads.
Return the world to circles.
Turn the world to circles. Two-leggeds, four-leggeds, winds, fins, and crawlers.
Coming
Together as one with another. Living in love. There are no others. Spirit to spirit, heart to heart. Can anything really keep us apart?
Thank you, Shonda. Can anything really keep us apart? The song asks. And that's a really good question. We're in such troubled times, and we really need to recognize these tools that bring us back to center within ourselves and share them in any ways that we can to help us all become overlapping circles of wholeness, so that we have that mandorla crossover image to share when we are centered within our own wholeness and our own circles. And I've said before, the ways that they could not outlaw when I was a child, it was mostly illegal to practice any of our ways, our songs, our dances. There was even a lot of trouble on the Koala boundary and on the reservations. A lot of interference from the people that went into the church didn't allow us to practice our ways. But the one thing that didn't stop, at least in my family, was the circles that we gather in, especially the women. The women gather in the circles, and we share the gifts that we see in the children and the ancestral patterns that we see, and we are then able to nurture these ways in those children and all of those that are able to come into the circle. And fortunately, the men gather to protect the women so that they can come back into circle and talk and share and nurture in the ways that we always did in matrilineal society. And matrilineal society doesn't mean that the women are in hierarchical ways over anybody. It just means that we focus on relatedness in the ways of the feminine. It's more about the energies of the words masculine and feminine. We didn't have, for example, actions that were only allowed for women or allowed for men, or there wasn't anything like that. It was open to whoever felt called to bring their gifts into those communities in any way they chose. And the elder women and the rest of the community recognized as gifts. And we honored those gifts by asking those people for their gifts, to share their gifts, to be there and be present in the ways that they carried in their true nature. It's the work that we come here to do, and to be in a culture that doesn't recognize that work, that instead places hierarchy over gifts that they rank, that they pay more for, or that they allocate to men or to women or to certain classes, or those hierarchy breakdowns within the dominant culture that we're living in today are so hard on the spirit of Native people and all people. And that's a big part of why I'm hoping we can return the world to circles, return to those talking circles in the ways they were traditionally established, in the ways that they're taught, and in the ways that they're shared. And when we do that and start out calling in our ancestors, as we did with the plant medicine today, with the stone that you saw in the center of the plant medicine. The stones are our eldest ancestors, and the circle stones are very precious when they come into our lives. And you can see, you know, the natural pottery with the plant medicine on it as well. When we start our circles, our gatherings with a song or with the plant medicine, that is building the feminine energy of relationship. And that's how we come back into circle, when we can honor and build relationship and community. And I'm so grateful for this opportunity to be in community and to build those relationships and to take those gatherings, the gatherings that we nurture here, out into community where we dance and community where we sing and learn these songs that came to me in the dream time, and the healing that they bring, so that we can carry them in the world and share them with as many people as possible, so that it can help us all heal. And the dream work that we do, the gathering, you know, that we do for the dream work, is also for the collective, for the healing of the collective. And I'm grateful to the people here for their support and coming into all these experiential gatherings. We were and are verb-based people. We don't sit and talk as much as we act. Our verbs, our sentences, our thoughts are reflected in actions, what we actually do to make these words real and to make them a part of our lives requires action. And I'm sure we've all come across people that we've met that have a lot of talk, and then we get to know them more over time, and the walk just doesn't quite align with the talk, and it gets very confusing when that happens. So we see that as an opportunity to deepen our practices, to deepen our understandings, and to actually practice aligning our words, our talk, and our walk, so that they can come full circle, and the words can come into the ways and into the walk, and we can share our circles, and we can get those ripples as we bring in the elements of the water, and those ripples can ripple out from our gatherings here and touch those around us. We're all predominantly water, and the water is such a big part of the ways that we share. Our emotions are of the water, our feelings. So many of our experiences and our daily interactions, you know, and without the water and the air, we give up this precious life that we've entered into. And our work continues, you know. Had the sad experience of seeing a Facebook post from someone that I met in this gathering this morning, saying that he was done, that it was too hard, life was too hard. And it really brought me back to the need for the work that we do to be understood as the work of our soul. And that work continues, whether we're in this body, in this life, or we are on the other side. Our soul has the advantage of being both in us, in this life, and the many lives, and the many ancestral patterns that we carry. Our soul is a big part of that. And there is some advantage to carrying that work in our life, in our bodies, that allows us to heal ancestral patterns and to help our ancestors heal patterns of genocide that we see continuing in the world today and that have such a tremendous influence in our lives, even when they're totally unconscious and we're not aware of them. They are influencing our lives. And Carl Jung said, until we make the unconscious conscious, it will run our lives and we will call it fate. It's not fate. We work with our soul and our dreams and our circles and our sacred ways in order to reach our soul and really follow that guidance from our soul with support of all those around us in our circles, standing with us at every opportunity, sharing that strength that we amplify when we become community in circle, sharing our ancestral old ways, the original instructions that we came in with, the original teachings that humans are the only ones who've forgotten. Look at the animals. They have their original instructions. The world around them changes and their instincts and their human spirit patterns continue. They are our teachers of the fourth world, and our prophecies say that the stones taught us first. They've been here from the beginning, so they are our eldest. Then the water has taught us in the second world. In the third world, the plants came in and taught us. And of course, the stones and the water taught the plants to survive and be at their highest and best. And now they brought in the animals, and the animals are teaching us to enter the fifth world, which is our opportunity to be our most human. So I hope that we can all share these teachings in every opportunity that comes to us and in every way that comes to us, and keep passing along these original instructions and returning to these old ways for new times, and help each other as we do this. We can really come together and strengthen our chances of being fully human. I have another song that came from the dream world that says, standing rocks remain forever, human beings come and go. Look at how many eras of human life have passed or hopefully integrated to become who we are as humans today. But there's a lot of work to do right now to return to being centered in relationship, in community, and in our original instructions as we reach back to the beginnings of this wave of humans where we all share ancestors, and this wave of humans where we came in with the spiritual sacredness of the meaning and the purpose in our lives. This is what we're about as humans. And I'm so glad that you're all here to share this opportunity and this time in life as a community and as a circle of people who are here to stand by each other and stand with each other. So I hope we're all feeling very centered, and I want to open us up to any questions about these teachings and sharings. of Indigenous ways at this time. Just unmute and speak whatever's on your heart.
Sarah, Daniel, did you have any comments or questions for Gail?
I just think it's so beautiful always to listen to you, Gail.
Thank you, Daniel.
I get so centered and just enjoy meditating, listening to you talk. Wonderful and beautiful and magical. Thank
Very
you.
sweet. Oh, thank you, Daniel. Yeah, that's very sweet to hear. And that's what we do with each other. You know, that is the magic that comes in with our ancestors and with sharing in these ways. Thank you so much for expressing that and sharing that, Daniel.
Oh, thank you.
Sarah, did you have any comments for Gail?
No, she and I are gonna have to spend quality time together soon.
I love that, Sarah. Thank you.
It'll be very exciting.
Okay, well, we're
Yes,
gonna
we
go ahead and shut down the recording. And as tradition in the gathering, every time we close our recording, we say thank you to the energy in the room. Thank you, Gail.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Gail.
Shonda. Thank you all for being here.
Take care.